Hi, this is Jodia Vanel. I'm the CEO and founder of NESVANMAR, a management consulting and project management firm based in New York City. I'm also the host of Biz Talks, Biz Talks with Jodia Vanel. Today, we are featuring Ramona Cedeno. She is a financial consultant accountant with the company Fibrix. Listen to her journey as she navigates from corporate America to starting up her own company, Fibrix. Make sure you continue watching our episodes and that you also sign up to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. There are many more episodes on its way. Welcome to Biz Talks with Jodia Vanel. Again, I'm Jodia Vanel, the host. I am the CEO and founder of NESVANMAR, a managing consulting and project management firm based out of New York. We are here today speaking to another one of our amazing entrepreneurs, small business, Ramona Cedeno. Please, Ramona, give us some insights about you and your company.
No, thank you. Thank you so much, Jodia, for having me here. Super happy and super excited about this conversation today. Always a lot to share and to learn from you. Whatever you have to share, happy to have this nice conversation. My background is in accounting and finance. My company is Fibrix Financial Services. And I love everything numbers, everything finance, every big mess that has to do with reconciling numbers and data. I welcome all of that, but of course there is a lot more to that when it comes to what we do. I am a CPA and certified financial planner, so every time I work with a business owner or an individual, I'm always putting that one of those hats on and figuring out how to best help our clients or friends when it comes to financial and money matters. My company focuses on anything from bookkeeping, tax planning, to fractional CFO services for those businesses that are in the growth mode.
Okay. When did you have this aha moment that you wanted to create your company?
For many years, I played with the idea of starting my own company, and I never felt that I was ready. And I spent a lot of time working for larger firms and just getting more education and more degrees and more certifications. And one day I found myself not happy where I was, not to blame anyone in particular, but you just get to that point where you feel stuck and you don't know where to go, and you decide that you want to change. And so I decided to take a short break. And while I was taking that break, someone said, why don't you start your own company? And someone else had to say it, but whatever it took, it worked. And I gave it a little bit of thought. I'm usually a very decisive person, make decisions relatively quickly. It's either it feels good or it doesn't. And it took me just a couple of days to say, yes, I'm going to do that. And, it was scary. It wasn't easy. It wasn't like, oh, yes, I'm going to get, 5 customers in a week. It didn't feel like that. It felt like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Is this going to work? And then you go back to friends and family and you ask them the questions, and someone will tell you, well, you'll be fine. And that's exactly what happened. And in a couple of days, I started my company and reached out to people, and whoever reached out to me offered me a job. I said, no, I don't want a job. I want a project. If you have one, I can consult for you or contract for you or do some side work as a company, but not as an employee.
I know, thank God for friends, good friends, and good mentors and family members who are able to always push you forward, because there's so many times as an entrepreneur that we may doubt ourselves. I ask myself all the time, am I on the right track? Like, what do you think? And I go to someone who's been in the game longer than me, and they're able to, provide really great insights that keep me on track. So thanks for sharing that. I know we're going through COVID right now, and we're in the heart of it. We're in New York City, right at the epicenter of coronavirus. How has business been since this started? And, has there been any silver lining for you during the crisis?
Yes, being in the industry that I'm in, and also due to the fact that when this happened, we were also in the middle of a tax season. It was a little chaotic. And I have a family. I have a son who is 9, a son who is 18, my brother who is 20 lives with me. I have a husband. So everyone came back home. We had to juggle that plus my team who started working remotely. One went to Atlanta while this is all going on. The other one is here in New York City. So there was a lot to manage. And then the customers had their own needs, that things that they needed from us for tax reasons or for the CARES Act that was, just approved during that time. So there was a lot to juggle. So what I had to do and the team, what you had to do is really like restructure the way we did everything, the way our day to day happened. We had to have set schedules and planned what our meetings and calls were going to be. I had to learn to understand when a question from a client was urgent versus when it could wait a little longer, and be able to tell them that. There were situations where I had to say to someone, I'm dealing with requests related to CARES Act that are due right now. So can I put your stuff on hold for a little bit if it's not urgent? So there was some transition in the way we manage the business, we manage customers and the staff, but we all learn from it. We are better now when it comes to working remotely and managing expectations. This was an opportunity to help us kind of shift the way we did things before. And once we're out of this, I'm sure there are a lot of things we're going to do differently in the future. But yes, it took a little of rapid adapting. There was no time to play around. It was just like, how do we do this so it doesn't impacts the least number of people as possible.
I know it's a trying time, and everyone has had to work on adapting as much as possible. I think that, after COVID-19 is over, I do feel like there'll be more of an appreciation of when, companies have employees that are at home. They'll understand what people actually have to go through, all of the things that you have to balance while maintaining your job. And then I think that there may be a little bit more flexibility and allowing people to work remotely. So although it's a bad situation now, I think that there are some good that will come through for employees and even entrepreneurs also.
Yes. One thing that I was very proud of was that even before this all happened, one of the things that we focused a lot on at the firm is technology. We want to streamline processes. We want to be able to access our information from anywhere. And we were ready to make that transition quickly. We had the lightest equipment possible. We were working on the cloud. We were already using Slack and Zoom and QuickBooks Online. So it was very easy to transition. So that helped significantly.
In general, I want to know if you can share a time where there has been challenges to deal with that were difficult in your business or in life in general, and how did you go about managing those challenges?
Oh my gosh, there's always a list, right? You have challenges with staff, sometimes a little small challenge here and there with clients, challenge with yourself, having to find time to rest and unwind, and it's hard as an entrepreneur. I think the biggest challenges for me are those involving staff and clients. We want to have the best team and we want to do the best for them, but we also want to do the best, what's best for the company. And there have been times in the past where I had to make hard decisions when it comes to, let's say, giving someone feedback about their performance or even letting someone go. And those are not easy times, right? We don't want to be in a situation. And that would take me a little bit of planning. I'm a planner. I'm a quick, fast decision maker, but when it comes to those, I really have to feel good about it. Um, to when it comes to addressing a staff issue, so it takes me a little longer. So the way I handle those again is consult with advisors, I consult with experts, I uh, look at the pros and cons, and then once I know I weigh more on one end than the other, I just say, this is the decision, and I go with that. And you just kind of have to feel good with the decision, and you did the best that you could at that time, and just move on and hope for the best for everyone.
I know people don't understand that being a boss is very difficult and it is a high price to pay. I remember even when I worked as an employee, I always said, the epitome of my career is being in management, is being in leadership. And when I got to that point, it was so difficult to work through someone's performance, giving them feedback, people being sensitive, people taking things out of context. It was the most difficult thing. And I said, oh my gosh, I should just go back to working my technical stuff at my desk, because dealing with people, it's the hardest thing that you will come by. And now you're running a company, you're the boss, you're the one who has to make all of the different, decisions, the difficult decision. It is the hardest thing to do. So kudos to you for being a boss lady and handling that.
Thank you.
So just to lighten up the mood a little bit, I like to ask people this question. What is the best purchase that you have made for your business that's under $100?
Wow. And it's a one-time thing.
Just a one-time thing.
For less than $100. I actually was able to get a computer monitor for less than $100. That was a nice perk during my times on my co-working spaces. So that one of my co-working spaces, someone was selling this monitor during Christmas time. I was like, I want it. I wasn't even sure what I was getting into. But I picked it up. I think it was $89, and that was the start of. We want to have two monitors for that per person, but that was the first one that we actually got. And we still
Having a
have
double monitor makes you so much more efficient. At some point, I had 3 monitors. Now I've been reduced back to like 1 for now, but I definitely need to head to Best Buys or somewhere and pick up another monitor, because it's all about efficiencies, especially when you are working from home.
definitely, totally.
So you're in the financial space, your company, Fabric Financial Services. I'm sure a lot of people are calling you right now. You mentioned the CARES Act. You're doing a lot of speaking engagement with the public on, the payroll, the PPP, and you're talking to businesses right now about just getting loans and things of that nature. Do you have any insights to share with business owners, women-owned businesses, businesses based off of communities of colors? Any advice for those businesses to just be prepared and what information is needed for them to be successful during this time?
Yes, I think that the first thing I would say, especially to our minority communities, is that we have to seek for information. We have to find resources. We should take advantage of everything that's out there that it's put together by the city of New York and other organizations that are doing amazing work provide resources to us. And that's the start. It's like, let's get informed. Let's not sit home waiting for something to happen. So that's the first step. The next thing is to plan. I'm a planner. It's how am I going to survive during this time? How am I going to make sure that my business doesn't die during the next 6 months? What kind of resources do I need? Where can I cut down? And then what am I going to do after? There is a big opportunity for a lot of businesses, if they can make it through this crisis, to be in a better place as soon as this is over. There is going to be a high demand for certain services. So let's position ourselves to be able to take on the additional demand that is going to be there. I have clients that are planning already, like, how many events am I going to be able to host in the fall, when I was able to only do 2 events per month. And these are like event planners businesses. So it's going to be setting yourself up to be able to handle that demand by having a plan for how you're going to hire, how you're going to fund the projects as they come, and just having the structure to be able to manage all of that.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So, Ramona, you are a woman in business. You are a minority in business. You're also a Dominicana, a Latina in business. What about those young women that are wrestling with what career paths they may go through, or even the aspiring entrepreneur that doubts themselves? What advice can you give to them, or what would you have liked someone to have shared with you?
That is a very good question, but I don't know. I might not be the right person to ask the question to, and I'll tell you why. I decided that I wanted to be an accountant when I was in high school, and it was just, I had a conversation with someone who was an accountant as I was looking for my where I was going to live, when I went to college. I was looking for an apartment to share with someone. We didn't have the dorms and all of that in the Dominican Republic, so I was looking for my roommate, and she was not a student like me. Back then you just live with someone who wanted to rent a room. She was already working for a company, and she was an accountant. And I was having this conversation with her, and she told me what she did, and I was like, I think my mom says that I'm really good with numbers, so I should probably just go for accounting. And that's what I did. My sister one day asked me, what should I go for? And I said, why don't you do accounting? And she went for accounting, and she blames me now. So to me, she really does. She wishes she went to do something for fashion, although she's an amazing finance professional. But she says that I put her on that track, which is a very good one, by the way. If you don't know what you want to do, accounting, finance, all those are good options. But I think I would recommend everyone starting with what do they love to do, and then finding something that either supplements or complements or leverages that to make it a career. So if there are some careers that I'll say, okay, that's not going to generate any income for us, right? But maybe you can find one that integrates that passion of yours that will then generate income for you. And I, my son is 19, and I have these types of conversations with him. Whenever I can get them to, I can actually say something about that, and we have this conversation.
They're not going to listen to you because you're the parent, right?
Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm not ready. I'll figure it out. But it's combining that, like what we really want to do with what is really going to be practical. I am a practical person, so I can, whatever I do, I love dancing. I wish I had a career in dancing, but how can I make a lot of money there, right? There's a lot that to take into account when it comes to those types of career. So anyone struggling, again, have conversations with other professionals. Look for things that you might enjoy from one career and see how you can make that part of yours, or maybe you choose that same career that the other person has.
Your feedback and suggestion is right on par with my next question. I think you've already stolen the thunder and answered this, but I'll ask it once again. Do you have to love what you do?
Oh my gosh, now I can contradict myself. You have to love what you do, definitely. Unless you're doing it part-time. If you're doing it part-time, then survive. But if you're gonna do it full-time and you wanna do it right and you wanna do it, do the best for the people that you are working for or providing the service to, you have to love what you do. So we always have the opportunity to shift, to change. If you're doing something that you don't enjoy, do it for as long as you can, and then find something else. There are so many options out there. There are so many, I mean, especially in the United States, you have so many options for careers that, you know, there are people shifting, switching careers all the time. So yes, I'll definitely say love what you do. If you don't and you don't have choices, fall in love with it. You know, think of a marriage and how do you fall back in love with with your spouse? So do that with your career if you can.
That's a whole nother segment about how you
Yeah.
fall back in love. But I know that someone will. And so just like with careers, you can pivot, you can switch, you can reinvent yourself, and you can find so many different pieces. But I do believe that if you are an entrepreneur, love what you do, because there are going to be so many difficult days, difficult nights, difficult situations. And if you think back to, I love doing this, it may make the job just a little bit easier. Or it may make the ride a little bit easier during those difficult times. So we're going to lighten up the mood a little bit. You have such a busy day now with this crisis and in the industry, the financial industry that you are in. What do you do to unwind?
If I do that, right? Assuming I unwind. So there are a few things that I don't compromise on if I can avoid, if I can help it. One is exercising. So I get my exercise in every morning at between 8 and 9. But in terms of unwinding towards the end of the day, after a long day, I watch silly TV. I watch silly shows, sitcoms, cop shows, soap operas. That's how that's how I get my downtime right now, especially indoors. If it was, if it wasn't COVID season, then I'll be out walking with a friend or having some meal outside.
Yeah, having a meal and having a drink with a friend, especially today. Today's Cinco de Mayo. We're not doing anything. We're not doing anything. We're in the
Oh
house.
no, I forgot. Yes, I was supposed to do something.
We'll do a virtual cheers to Cinco de Mayo during our call. It's a celebration today.
Yeah.
We're just not drinking. Thank you so much for joining us today. Are there any business tips that you can share with our viewers?
I think the biggest thing is don't let worry and disappointments and panic take the best of you. Like let's think about the potential positive outcome. And as business owners and as just human beings, like things will get better. And if we can just live through this and make the best that we can, we'll be in a better place after. In terms of the business and the financial aspects, I know it's very difficult when we don't have, right? If we don't have the revenue coming in, if we don't have the cash cushion that is going to help us survive, it's really difficult, and I get that. If anyone is in a situation like that, and before the panic sinks in, ask for help. Look for help. Look for friends or family members or other business owners who can maybe hire you temporarily, help you, create a project or use your services for a project they're working on. So it's just like being creative and finding solutions for the situation that we're in is really right now, I think is going to be key.
I know, absolutely. I say to a lot of people, barter your skills right now. You know, if someone isn't able to pay for it, offer up those skills, ask for a testimonial or something or a reference that later on, when we're out of a crisis, you can actually use it. So, Ramona, since you are a financial person, give us one sound advice. It could be what we should be investing in. It could be what we should be doing with our money. Anything for the audience.
What I always tell everyone is spend less.
Of
Because
course, the accountant would say that.
spend less. There is always room for that, believe it or not. But yes, I'm a preacher when it comes to that. Let's spend less, let's reuse what we have. But in addition to that is planning always, how, what am I going to do over the next 6 months, the next year, if scenario A happens or if it doesn't happen. I can only give you those two. I think those two will take us a long way.
Awesome. So Ramona, before we go, your company, Fabric Financial Services, tell us, where do you park at? How can we get in contact with you?
Yes, thank you. So social media is big right now for us. We are all over. You can find me as Ramona Cedeno or as Fabric. You will come up right away. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Our website is fabricfinancialservices.com, and from there you can get in contact with me directly. And I'm very responsive. We are all very responsive. You can send me a message on LinkedIn if you're on LinkedIn, and I will get back to you. And I think Jodia is
She
a witness to
definitely
that.
gets back to you, people. That's one of the great things about you. Not everyone on LinkedIn will respond, but she definitely does.
Yes, we're very responsive. That's what we pride ourselves in. So reach out and someone will get back to you. A lot of times it's me directly. So happy to take on any emails or messages that you send our way. And hopefully everyone will stay safe and we'll get through all this. And anything that you need to run by me, if it's something that is off my knowledge, that's something that I know off the top of my head, happy to give you an answer without having to schedule a long consultation session.
Ramona, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your wisdom with us on Biz Talk today.